are you?
Present. I'm good. I'm guessing you don't want us to make any bus for Canton yet for Trivon Henderson, but I'm guessing you think he might have gotten off to a kind of a good Patriots debut today and got the team rolling today.
Well, I think that was one of the phases that we talked that was going to be so critical, and it's hard to really rep full speed. And we got a few of them against Washington, and I think that we saw some things that we could improve on, and that's exactly what we did. And I think Trivon read it out and hit the hole, and everybody else blocked and finished and did all those good things. So it's a step in the right direction, and I think it's exciting anytime that you can. We talk about how critical a phase of the game is going to be, and to come out here and be able to work on it.
Mike, it looked like Eftton Chisum got off to a good start tonight. What did you see from him that maybe stood out?
Well, I think his play strength stood out to me, just from the sideline. I think the way that he blocks and his ability to catch the ball in traffic. The ball was basically tipped or bobbled, coming out of Ben's hand and kind of ran through a tackle and ran through contact, and then we threw him the screen. So those are all positive things. I think his play strength to me is what stood out.
And Roach in the back.
Mike, just thought on Drake's performance, and I'm sure the turnover probably annoyed you with what he did.
Are you asking and answering a
Just
question at
your
the
thoughts.
same time? Is that what you're doing?
I got you. Your thoughts.
I would say you about summed it up. That's a bad decision. I think we're going to need better from him, and I think he knows that, and that's obvious. So, wasn't there, and we just have to be able to find a way to get rid of the football or take a sack and punt and play defense. But to the defense's credit, they, forced a field goal. I think that was missed maybe, but they got a couple, it was a sudden change opportunity.
Right over here, Mike. DJ James continues to have a solid summer. Just your impression of him and the interception tonight and the work he continues to do for you.
I think that it's always exciting to see players that take advantage of opportunities. And since DJ was one of the players that was here for rookie minicamp, and I would say that since that day and that weekend, he's continued to improve. And I think he's taken advantage of that. And so I'm always for players that get better, take coaching. It's on them, obviously, to improve, and so that's all to DJ's credit. And so I'm excited for him that he can put into work and then start to see it translate onto the field.
Mike.
Hi.
I can't imagine a lot of instances of you going outside the stadium 90 minutes before kickoff, but how important was it for you to be at Tom's ceremony, and what was it like for you being there and quickly getting back into the game mode?
Well, I think it made it a little easier just because it was, it's a preseason game and there's maybe probably not as much going on. I mean, there's still the schedule and everything and meeting with the officials and the team and the coaches. But, I mean, it was always important for me to be out there. And, I thought you saw the amount of people that were there to support him, people on the commander's side, former teammates, just having somebody like that be a part of this organization, pretty unique, pretty special. So glad that I was able to be a part of it for a little bit.
Hi, Mike. I'm curious, with Will Campbell and Jared Wilson, I'm curious how you thought they did on the left side tonight, because it seemed like on the fumble that they might have missed that block, but at the same time, Will Campbell, and they were pushing guys forward. So just how you thought they did overall.
Well, I mean, I think the play demeanor showed, and I think that there was a game maybe that, a pass rush game, it looked like to me, and those are something that we'll continue to work hard on. We were able to pick them up in the practice. They ran a few of them over there against us in practice. We just have to be able to carry that execution into the game. But I certainly did see their play demeanor kind of stand out, and I think that that's a good place to start is with that and being downfield and finishing through the whistle and everything that we embrace here.
Mike, we saw Jalen Polk leave for the locker room after the carry. Just curious if there's an update on him.
No update right now. He'll get more testing and see our doctors, and wasn't able to finish the game.
Mike, obviously you want to establish consistency in the preseason and in training camp. So how important is it for you that on this first game, only 2 penalties for 15 yards?
Well, we had a couple that were, really offsetting, so we still fouled them. It wasn't like we were really, really clean. I thought operationally we were pretty good. Felt like everybody was on the same page in substitution and getting in and out of the huddle. And they don't huddle, they sub, and sometimes they stand over it and sometimes they don't. So I felt like defensively that was a good challenge for us to be able to play a game like that with a team that really doesn't want to huddle. And but when you can have that many, we had a few kickoff returns and did not have any penalties there. We had the one that was offsetting on the punt. Those are critical because there's so much field position that gets changed when you have penalties on punt returns and kickoff returns. So it's a good start. It's a good start for everything that we were talking about, and give us some more to coach. We have to tackle better, and we'll have to throw the football better going forward. But I thought that this was a good place to start.
Javon Baker made a couple of special teams tackles, and I thought you were encouraged by that on the sideline. But is it good to see someone who's trying to contribute in more than one phase in terms of trying to make the team?
Yeah, I think that's fantastic. When you have players, and especially receivers, that can create a role and they can help you and they can be big and physical and everything that we see out of Javon as a receiver, when you can embrace that and they can embrace that as special teams players, guys that are big and physical and fast and willing, that translates to special teams. So excited and just happy for Javon, just being able to go out there and contribute. And when you do those things, your teammates get excited, and hopefully his confidence continues to grow.
Mike, over here. You mentioned the passing game is something you can improve. I was wondering, obviously it's early, but what did you think contributed to that, whether it was separation?
I mean, I think the way that the game kind of unfolded with the kickoff and, going for a touchdown and, defensive turnover. And, I felt like we had some opportunities. Maybe the ball was batted. I thought we had CJ for a touchdown there. He was open. And then just the protection, I guess, on the third down. So it wasn't like we had a whole lot of opportunities early. We were able to kind of convert and score, running the football. And then, Drake scrambled, right? So, again, I'm all for him using his ability to run, when it's there, and you saw him slide and then you saw him be able to run in the end zone. So, maybe just kind of how the game unfolded early. We hit some passes late. I think Ben settled down. I was excited to see him settle down and, hit some passes, and John Giles, who bust his tail to block and play special teams, and had a huge catch there, and felt everybody played, which I'm excited for. And we talked about there were some players that didn't get to play on Wednesday or practice, and that they were going to get an opportunity on Friday night, and I was happy to see them take advantage of it, and proud that they could be excited about it.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, guys.
Drake Maye is next. Raise your hand if you want to. We'll go Dan Roach in the back.
Hey, Drake, just a thought on getting out there, stadium, Tom Brady night, the game action, and just your thoughts on what you were able to accomplish.
Yeah, I think, shout out to the fans. That was a great turnout. I mean, that's, felt like a real game atmosphere. You get the same jitters rolling out there. Obviously a big celebration for number 12. That's a pretty cool statue they put out there. I was able to listen to a little bit of his speech. That was pretty cool. So, honoring him and what he's done for this organization, speaks for itself. But for the fans tonight, how about that? They showed out, and I think what the guys did tonight, had everybody playing hard, blocking, tackling, running around. And I think, just kind of full 4 quarters, I thought we, kept playing. And I think we're kind of, starting to, build something that we're, starting to build the identity. And that's what Coach is talking about. And I get to do my part of protecting the football. So.
I know you were very complimentary of Eftton Chisum over the course of the spring, his work he did during the OTAs. I know you guys didn't have a chance to connect tonight, but from the sideline, what did you see from him and maybe his overall growth over the course of the summer?
Yeah, he's a baller. I mean, he loves coming up, ask me questions about routes and things. He loves talking football. He's just a football player, and you saw it tonight, making plays. Glad he got in the end zone, and then almost should have got in the end zone again on the screen. He got chased down, but yeah, I think just blocking hard, doing all the right things. I think that kind of is what we're preaching in the offensive room. You do keep doing things the right way and keep showing up. You're going to get rewarded.
Hey, Drake, over here, just how disappointing was it to start sort of with that fumble on the
Yeah,
first
it's
drive? And what
disappointing.
happened
I mean, I was excited to get out there, and Trivon takes it the 100 yards. It was pretty sweet. But, yeah, you got a little bit of drive going, third down, and, yeah, just can't do that, my first time out. Just have to put a damper. I'm glad we responded well that next drive. But, yeah, same time, I'm glad it's something that I can control, but at the end of the day, you just can't put the defense in that position, when games, matter and during the season. And, I told, those guys, it's on me. We got to get back out there. And, glad I was able to get another series going.
Hey Drake, imagine, especially as quarterback, one of the top priorities in the preseason is avoiding a big contact and staying in good condition. But when it comes to using your legs, how much is the balance of, well, I don't want to take off, run, get too much contact versus, well, if they're going to give me all that green grass, got to take it.
I think, when they play man or they're, down in the red zone and sitting back in zone and, playing too high, I got to, play football. That's, my natural instinct. Obviously wish you could have, hit some more passes, but at the same time, I thought we were running the ball well all night. And there's an even balance of, them accounting for, me being able to run a little bit. And I thought I got down and on the first third down scramble, and then in the red zone, like I said, I'm going to go out there and play football.
Drake, you mentioned it a little bit, but just take us through your reaction to seeing Trivon Henderson on that first play, just take it 100 yards on that kickoff return.
Yeah, I think it's different with the kickoff rule now. You think, teams are going to want to, tackle and not get 35-yard line, so it's going to be a chance for some returns. And, man, it's like a lightning bolt. He was, I saw the crease and, knew he was gone. So, pretty cool. The first time he touched football, it's a touchdown. And then, credit to the guys that did the blocking up front. That's, special teams and all three phases. I think special teams got a chance to be big for us this year.
Hey, Drake, just going back to the end of the first drive, plays like that where you're trying to extend, do you feel like that's more just instinct, like you were talking about reflex, or is there kind of a deliberate thought on that play of what you were trying to do?
No, yeah, it's instinct. It's just the first time I got hit since back in the last, week 17. So, it's instinctive, and I'm going to try to do, my best and not get hit. But I'm going to do my part of standing there and delivering throws, and, know it's going to happen. But, yeah, I think it's instinctive, just playing football and, obviously trying to get the ball in the other guy's hands because they're better runners than I am. But, just keeping defense honest.
In your first answer, you mentioned, the optimism you have with the group this year. Is it possible to get a sense for who and what this team is this early and what's driving that optimism?
Yeah, I think you just got to continue to work at it every day, every week. Learn from it, learn from the tape. That's what the biggest thing I've seen these guys. They want to get better. They're asking questions. It's a lot of football talk around in the locker room. I think that's just something you like seeing. I think the optimism for me is, these guys, like I said in the previous one, we want to win. And it starts with the head coach, the intensity. You see the guys up front. Especially the first offensive line group. That was in with me. I was, tossing and handing it off and just watching them kind of set the tone early up front. That kind of gets me excited and gets me pumped up. You see guys, talking trash until the whistle, and that's what you want. That's what you want around the locker room. You want those guys, and it's easy for me to get excited, playing with guys like that beside me.
Last question, Mike Reese in the back.
Hey, Drake, when you think about Ramondre and Trivon and Antonio, the three backs there, how would you sort of describe the way they complement each other from your view?
Yeah, I think it's it's tough on the defense. They all can make you miss. They can run over you. They can catch balls out of the backfield. So it's going to be challenging for us on when to use them and how to use them, and getting them the ball. So we got to get those guys open in space. They're great football players, and you see two of them in the kickoff return. I don't know who they're going to kick it to. Both of them are pretty had big ones tonight. So. Excited to have them beside me, and I think the best thing about them, they're smart. They're good in pass pro. They're good, when running the football. That's that's obvious. But routes and I think, pass pro, they're willing to block. And that's just something you look for in a quarterback. Is he going up in the A gap like, man, I got to go do this. Those guys are like, I'm going to protect the guy behind me. And that's what, like I said, it's pretty cool and fires me up. So thank y'all.
Plan to have Henderson, James, and Chisum still. Locker room's open.
DJ, maybe just take us back to the interception and what you saw.
Just going through my read is third down, just thinking stick concepts, seeing the receiver raise his chest, so that gave me an indicator of just the type of route he was going to run, and I just trusted my instincts from there, and it took over.
Right here, DJ.
With Christian not playing and Carlton not playing, you and Alex and guys getting a lot of opportunities right out of the gate. How important is it for you to, like with the interception, to make a statement for yourself as to why you belong on this team and to make your case?
Each and every day I try to come in and just show my teammates and my coaches that I'm someone that wants to be on this team, someone that wants to, just help improve this team, and just ready to come to work every day and be a great teammate.
If you could just take us kind of through where you've been mentally, the start of camp, start of OTAs, everything, to your confidence and how it's growing on it seems like a daily basis, and how much fun it is for you.
Just taking it each and every day, learning the scheme, talking to my coaches. They really helped me a lot, coming a long way, just pushing me each and every day. And also my teammates. I got to thank my guys on the other side of the ball as well. They push me every day during camp just for these moments here. Yeah.
Hey, DJ, we were talking with Coach Vrabel, who mentioned he's seen real improvement for you since the start of a rookie camp. In your mind, about your game, where is the biggest improvement come from?
My confidence at corner. Just knowing I got that play style, that swagger with myself that I know I can go out there and just compete with anybody.
DJ, how would you describe sort of your journey in the NFL at this point? Starting in Seattle and then up here last year, waiting for your turn, and just sort of how would you sum all that up?
Just really just taking it day by day. Everybody's story is different, and just waiting on that opportunity to just showcase myself, and that time is coming, so I'm blessed to have that opportunity. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Trivon, just take us through, some hadn't even gotten to their seats yet when you took off. What was that feeling like? Take us through the whole run, and what was the celebration like with your teammates afterwards?
Yeah, shoot, I was surprised myself, but I give all thanks to God. I can't do what I do on the field without him. He's my strength when I go out there, and I give thanks to my teammates. The guys up front. They did a good job of blocking things up front and clearing the path for me.
Trivon, for someone getting into their first live game action in the NFL, years going through high school, college, always dream of that first moment in the NFL. What was it like finally getting to touch the ball and then having a moment like that?
Yeah. Like I said, man, I just thank God because this is something since I was a little kid, something I've been dreaming about, to be in this position, to be given this opportunity. And so I'm thankful. I'm just trying my best to take advantage of every opportunity I get. And so, but man, it's amazing, man, to be here, to be at an organization like this, such as the Patriots. And so, yeah, I'm excited, to continue to go forward, with the season.
What's going through your mind when that run is starting, and at what point do you realize I have an opportunity to take this to the house?
Shoot. Honestly, before, it's a lot of nerves, and so I try to take the time before the game, to just pray and cast my worries, give it to God, and just, ask that He just may have His way, whatever He wants, however it goes, that I may just come out thankful no matter what. And so, but when I got the ball, yeah, honestly, like I said, I wasn't even expecting that. And then when I saw the crease, it was on from there. And so, yeah.
Trivon, many young players have their ups and their downs in camp when they come into the NFL. I heard you describe tonight as someone who was the same player every day at practice. That suggests consistency. How does a young player like yourself manage consistency in this level every day?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that helped me is, my purpose and the reason why I play this game. God calls me to work as heartily as for Him, and not to please men. And so I just try to come in with that mindset. Being in the NFL, being a young guy, second-round draft pick, it's a lot of pressure. And sometimes it's hard. With all that pressure being on you. But the biggest thing is just I try to keep my eyes on the Lord. I know no matter what happens, I can come out here and give it everything that I got. And whether I have a good practice, bad practice, good game, bad game, I know God loves me and He's always here with me. And so that just motivates me to just keep going every day. I have my ups and downs as well. Some practices are good, some practices are bad, but I just try to keep learning and getting better.
When did you realize you had it? You had that, and did you look up a couple times at the video screen? It looked like you looked up to see if people were coming at you.
Yeah, I thought the kicker was gonna get me, so I had to make sure I hit the gas. But yeah, that's when I knew once I got past the kicker.
What do you think the Patriots have in the running back room with yourself, Ramondre, and Antonio, and how do you see each other kind of complementing one another?
Yeah, I think we do a good job of just feeding off one another energy. I know in practice those guys motivate me. You don't always come out practice motivated, and but seeing other guys go and just competing with the other guys, it pushes me a lot. It helps me get going, and so and same with the game. I know it's just one game so far, but just seeing Ramondre start off, seeing Antonio get in there, just feeding off that energy. I think we all do a good job of doing so. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you very much.
Eftton, we talked to you earlier in camp about you just smiling all the time. Looks like you're smiling again. How much fun was that for you? What were your thoughts on your NFL debut and what you were able to accomplish?
Yeah, it was awesome, super surreal. You kind of walk out the tunnel with everyone. Been a blessing, to be here, and I don't take it for granted. I got to go out there and play, so definitely super awesome, super thankful for the opportunity.
Eftton, walk us through that screen pass where I don't think you scored, but you came, you were, I guess, tackled inside the 5.
Yeah, just knew it was coming to me and knew I had to get vertical to go try to get the first down, or I don't exactly remember what down it was, but I wanted to just kind of get vertical, let the lineman get out there, block for me, and kind of just go make things happen.
Eftton, in the position that you're in, how do you balance the pressure of trying to make the most out of every opportunity when coaches are watching, and at the same time not let that pressure get under your skin and affect your ability to play your game?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's football. We've been playing our whole lives, and for me, I kind of just think about it like I'm back at my high school or back in my college, and go out there and just play, let loose, be free, because once you start overthinking and overanalyzing stuff, kind of can catch up to you. So just kind of being loose, being free, and just going out and playing.
And then Drake Maye mentioned you block your butt off, and that's something you're usually close to the formation. So I'm curious, what's your mentality as a blocker, and why is that so important for your game specifically?
I mean, it kind of started in high school. My coaches were always honest about blocking. We're never going to get the ball if we don't block, and so I kind of always just carried that over and just doing all the little details. I feel like just being a receiver that can block, that can open up opportunities to get on the field, So whatever I can do to help the team, I feel like I said it before, but if I'm blocking, if I got a fold, cross block, whatever it is, man, I love blocking. So just trying to be around the game.
Eftton, Coach Vrabel said that your play strength is something that stood out to him today. How much pride do you take in that? And is that something that can't really fully come out until a game-like situation like this?
Yeah, I think anytime, you kind of get a compliment from the head coach, it's definitely an honor. So I appreciate that from him. But, I feel like just playing hard, that's kind of what I pride myself on, and the little details and going out there and doing everything I can to my full ability. So I feel like when I got the ball, I got to kind of show that. But even like kind of we talked about in the blocking, I try to show that in the block running and blocking and the route running, whatever it is, just kind of playing hard.
Eftton, can you just sort of sum up the whole camp to this point, like thinking about some of the highs, the lows, and how you've navigated the camp?
Absolutely, definitely. Ups and downs. Just being a rookie, trying to understand the NFL and the different defenses, the terminology, the business side. Trying to just deal with that. But man, it's been such the biggest blessing and the biggest honor to be here and to play in the National Football League. I don't think I'm not taking it for granted. I hope the guys in the locker room aren't either. But man, we're the 1% of the 1%. So, just taking that each day, opportunity presents itself, trying to take advantage of it. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Tracy.